Hey man, it's time for you to start taking some accountability. Everything and everybody else's fault. We so quick to tell everybody else what they need to do better and what they need to work on and what they need to improve and what they need to do better in order to stay in our lives and what we would like to see more from them. But you know what? How often have you ever just slowed down long enough and say, what do I need to do better? What part of this situation that what happened between us and what we fell out, what did I do wrong? What could I be better at? What could I do to make your life easier? Because I was talking to my kids the other day. I was speaking in one of the schools that I work with, and I was talking to them about the love languages, right? I was talking to them about helping them understand the ways in which they need to be loved and they deserve to be loved and they would like to be loved. Because for most of them and for most of us as human beings, we don't really know. We say we want quality time. We say we want physical touch. We say we want gifts, which is what most of the world wants anyway. But in reality, when we get those things, we still feel unfulfilled. And we haven't spent enough time with ourselves to truly understand what it is that we want and what it is that makes us happy. And so we keep searching for it. We keep accepting anything, thinking it's going to bring us that validation and bringing us that wholeness and that happiness. And when it doesn't, then we wonder why we still feel so empty. And so I was trying to help them just understand that and help them work through that and help them understand what makes them them. And when they allow new people into their life, what boundaries and what barriers are they going to set to get the best out of that relationship and make sure that it's beneficial to their lives, but also at the same time, are you being beneficial to their lives? And once I made them understand how they want to be loved and what they need to feel loved and what they need to feel whole and happy, I asked them a question that really fucked up their head, and a lot of them was quiet when I answered this. I said, so now that you understand what you need for the other people in your life to do better, for you, what do you need to do better? What do you need to work on? What are some of your downfalls? What are some of your flaws? What are the things you struggle with? Because to be honest with you, man, it's so easy to point the finger. It's so easy to tell everybody else what they need to do better and how they need to improve and what they need to do in order to be accepted in your life. But you're like, motherfucker, that's a two-way street. There's some things you got to do to be in my life. There's some things you got to improve to be in my life. There's some things that you got to be real with yourself about and say, you know what? I do fall short in that area. And this is how I want to improve it so we can have the best friendship or the best relationship or the best love life possible. Because one thing I know no person ever wants to do is to keep hearing about what they need to improve on and what they need to do better and what they ain't doing enough of and what they struggle with. But we never take the time to take any accountability and say the same thing about our own self. They get old real quick. And when a person finally comes to you and is willing to open up to you and vent to you and talk to you about the things that they would love to see you do better, or the things that you've done to them that hurt their feelings, or the things that you've done to them to make them not feel important, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is, I think sometimes the best thing we can honestly do is just sit there and shut the hell up and listen to other people talk to us and vent to us and let us know how we need to improve in their life. Stop being so combative. Stop being so stop taking everything so personal. Stop stop feeling like you do no wrong. And I struggle with that. I feel like sometimes I make certain people in my life feel like I'm always right about everything and I do no wrong. And that's not my intent. It's just that when I hear something I don't agree with, or when I see something I don't agree with, I feel like I have to rebuttal it. But sometimes what people need to hear from you is, you know what? Your feelings are valid. You're right. I apologize for making you feel that way, and I'm going to do everything in my power to try to improve on that so you don't have to feel that way again. You have no idea how something that simple can go so far with people, but you got to genuinely mean it, and you got to genuinely be working on it. Now, does that mean you're going to change overnight and become a new person? No, probably not. It's going to take some time. But the fact that you was willing to acknowledge that person's feelings and acknowledge what they were saying to you and not just throw it under the bus or dismiss it like it ain't important to them or important to you, you have no idea how good that makes a person feel. And it's the other thing. When somebody comes to you genuinely and openly and wants to communicate to you about how they feel, Don't be that person that tries to like flip it and make it all about you, and try to flip it and tell them what they ain't doing wrong and what they ain't doing right or what they need to do more of. When they came to you, woman to man or man to man, woman to woman, whatever the case may be, trying to communicate their feelings to you because they love you and they care about you and they want you to be in their life. Don't try to find a way to be toxic and flip it and make it all about you, because it ain't. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't be able to express and communicate your feelings too? You should. You should. But you got to know when to do it. And don't do it in a way that invalidates their feelings and try to make it seem like your feelings are the only ones that are valid. Because you know what you're going to do? You're going to lose that person. And they ain't never going to want to open up to you again. They ain't going to ever trust you with the most precious and guarded and secret parts of them again. Because it's fragile opening up like that. It's hard to talk about our feelings. It's hard to talk about what hurt us. It's hard to talk about vulnerable things. It's hard to cry in front of people. It's hard to tell people that they hurt our feelings. It's hard to just be human sometimes. Because being cold-hearted and being strong and being tough is what's glorified these days. So it's time for you to take some accountability. It's time for you to admit that some things are your fault. It's time for you to be real and listen to other people's feelings and stop making them feel invalid just because they have different feelings from you. Like even with somebody that I love very dearly, man, I had to sit and listen to them just kind of tell me about the things that they feel like I struggle with and need to do better when it comes to the relationship of our life with each other. And it hurt to hear that stuff. It hurt to hear them call out my flaws and call out the things I struggle with and call out what I need to do better and call out where my downfalls. Like, it hurt to hear those things, right? But I think the best thing I could have did was to sit there in silence and just let them get it all out. And instead of trying to point the finger back at them and trying to argue with them and trying to make it all about me and validating how they feel, I said, you know what? I never knew you felt that way. And everything you said was valid. And I'm going to do better to try to make sure you don't feel that way again. Now, I did ask him this, though. I said, is it okay that I kind of express to you why maybe I do some of the things I do? Not saying that it makes them right. But, sometimes we do certain actions towards people as a reaction to the way we think that they treating us. Sometimes the reason why we do certain things towards certain people is because we think maybe they acting funny with us, so we act funny with them. Or when they don't communicate thoroughly with us, we stop communicating at all. Or when we think that they being weird towards us, then we want to give that same weird energy back. And sometimes it's not even like that. But you know what they say? They say a lack of communication in relationships is what leads to confusion. A lack of communication in relationships is what leads to a lack of clarity. And so in between that, then it becomes the assumptions. Then it becomes the overthinking. Then it becomes the trying to hurt you before you hurt me. It becomes that culture. And now we're creating problems for ourselves and creating this barrier between us that didn't even have to exist if we just did what? Communicate. If we just did what? Take accountability. If we just did what? Listen to that person's feelings and give them a space and an opportunity and a safe place to be able to talk about those feelings. Even though sometimes it's hard to hear. And that message has been on my heart, man, and I wanted to share it with you. It's time for you to take some accountability, too. It's time for you to realize you ain't perfect either. And everything that somebody tells you isn't necessarily an attack towards you. Sometimes it's just that plead for help for them to try to get you to do better so they can keep you around in their life. Everything somebody tells you about yourself isn't an attack. Maybe it's their way of begging and pleading with you to fix that thing that's bothering them so they don't have to worry about cutting you off, because that's not really what they want to do necessarily. Sometimes the people that we have to get rid of in our life and that we have to cut off and be done with, we didn't want to have to do that to them. But sometimes we have to, because when I tried to open up to you and I tried to be vulnerable with you, when I tried to talk to you about what you were doing that bothered me, you didn't take it serious. You tried to gaslight me and turn all my feelings around and make it seem like I was the problem or that I'm the only problem. When in reality, we both got shit we need to work on. But I came to you at this particular time in our relationship because this is what was bothering me at the moment. Or maybe I've been holding it in for so long and letting it build up, and it's been bothering me, and I just didn't know how to bring it to your attention. And then when I finally try, you take it as an attack, or you try to attack me and call out my flaws and my downtimes and all of that, when all I was trying to do was just reason with you. So again, everything isn't everybody else's fault. Sometimes you are wrong, and sometimes you got to take accountability. And sometimes you got to hear the hard truths about yourself so you can work on becoming a better person. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to bring that message to your attention and just remind you how much I love you. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of SpeakUPZee Podcast. And the podcast where we talk about real things with real people. I love y'all so much. And y'all be sure to text me in my community line, 501-817-2228. Let me help you, man. Let me help mentor your child. Let me help mentor you when it comes to life and business, and all the things in between, man. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.